Hello, everyone, and welcome to Character Day. We're so happy to have you all on board. We have over 130,000 events in 119 countries and all 50 states, all talking about one theme, which is about character and how to live a good life and meaning and purpose in the 21st century. We're so excited about how this experiment has grown. We want to give a shout out to our amazing partners, our great ambassadors. We have so many ambassadors that are in different countries and states that are leading the charge of Character Day there. And we're just really grateful. This has been an experiment that we're in year 4, and it's growing beautifully. And we've also been playing videos curated from our partners all throughout the day. And of course, one of our favorite, actually, I don't want to say the word content because that feels like a box and it's much more expansive, but one of our favorite creators of interesting content about joy and meaning and purpose is SoulPancake. So I'm super excited to be introducing Shabnam Mogharabi, who joined SoulPancake at its launch March 2009 as its co-director of content. But again, I like that word to be bigger. Director of creation. She's one of the co-authors of the New York Times bestselling book, SoulPancake, Chew on Life's Big Questions. SoulPancake spreads joy and celebrates the human experience by producing and curating uplifting, thought-provoking content that is distributed on television, online, and live events. So welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're so happy you're a part of it. And my first question is, you're interested in the big questions. Which big questions are you interested in?
Well, I personally, or at SoulPancake, because they're a little bit.
Well, let's start with your company, because that's. And I want to go to you because that will be infinitely as interesting. So.
Sounds good. Well, SoulPancake, when we were first founded, our tagline was "Chew on Life's Big Questions," and the way we defined that was all of those big, profound questions that we all think about, but we don't necessarily talk about. So things like, "Why am I here? What's my purpose? What do I hope happens when I die?" Like things that if you bring it up in conversation at a party, it's like, wah, wah, she's shutting it down, right? Those are the kinds of conversations that we said, we've got to find a way to tackle those in a way that can be entertaining, that can connect people, that can make it less taboo to have these kinds of philosophical conversations. So those are the big questions we talk about at SoulPancake. And I think, you know, personally, I have explored all of those questions at different points in my life. And I think that's what's really beautiful about the kind of meshing of my own personal story and SoulPancake is that, you know, when we think about life's big questions, we think about the questions that you come back to over and over again over a lifetime. That when you get a new job or you have kids or you retire, you have different moments in your life where you think about those questions in different ways. So we talk a lot about how the answers are not important. It's about living the questions every day and thinking about those questions every day. So I personally have also thought about all these questions, but at different points in my life.
I love the way that you frame that because, you know, and I think it's by Rumi, which is live the questions, which is so beautiful. And I do, especially as I'm getting older, and I love revisiting. Sometimes something happens to you in life. Well, sometimes it can be a hard event, which I've certainly had, that makes you relook at everything, or an opportunity presents itself and it forces you to do this 360 on your life and you get to re-ask all the questions. And I love those moments. And we kind of tried to visualize that in our movie 30,000 Days, which is all about you've only got 30,000 days to live and what are you going to do with them? But we used the binoculars of like just refocusing on what your passion is, your purpose, making sure they're aligned. But it's a great thing to think about. And another thing is, my co-writer and we always say we're in the Philosophers Club because we've been talking about all these big questions and rereading Greek philosophy, and it feels like such a gift to. And
it feels like something that needs to be made more relevant today. I think, you know, much to the points made in the film, it was something that was part of society, part of the fabric of society, and how we defined education and what a good society is and what a good life is. Philosophical ideas were integrated into that hundreds and thousands of years ago, but we've forgotten how to do that in kind of modern society. Since the Industrial Revolution, I think we've worshipped more, you know, titans of industry and government and pop culture more than we have philosophers. And I think it's a shame because we lose out on that exploratory process.
I could not agree with you more. back philosophers as the rock stars of our culture and make us more introspective and ask the big questions and make it cool to just be asking those big questions, which, you know, I mean, we're working on the film. Like, how do you reframe this and make it exciting and something that everyone feels like, yeah, I want to dig into this. This is what life's about. And this is how I'm part of something bigger than myself, and take yourself. I think our society is unfortunately so focused on, I mean, this is only half of it, but a lot of the technology is so self-focused.
Yeah.
But a lot of technology can also be the bigger picture, which I think SoulPancake does so beautifully. Mm-hmm. What is your perception of, I mean, there was a big movement on happiness, which has kind of evolved more towards meaning. And I love your playing and exploring the word of joy, because I think that's wonderful. Talk to us about joy, and do you think you can strengthen your sense of joy?
I 100% believe you can strengthen your sense of joy. It's really funny when we talk a lot about happiness, as we do, because one of life's big questions is what will it take to make me happier? How can I be a happier person? And I think that's something that a lot of people reflect on. And it's something that a lot of people come to SoulPancake wanting guidance on, wanting to consume our content and our storytelling and figure out how can I be a happier person. And we've had to really make a distinction between, the definition of happiness as an emotion and happiness as a state of being or a state of existence and a worldview almost. And so when we talk about happiness as an emotion, that's not really the happiness we're talking about, because happiness, like anger or sadness, can come and go, right? You find $20 in your jeans after doing laundry and you're like, woo, and you're happy for a moment, right? It's a fleeting emotion. It comes and goes. But the type of happiness we're talking about is kind of this state of contentment and this joyful outlook on life, that no matter what's happening in your life, whether you're feeling the emotions of being angry or disappointed or sad, or positive emotions like happiness and confidence, whatever emotion you're feeling, that your perspective on it and your approach to dealing with it comes from a state of joy and contentment. And that's the type of happiness that we really try to focus on, is thinking about all of life, this messy experience, this thing that we're all having to deal with all of its ups and downs, finding ways to approach it from this state of contentment. That's the type of joy and happiness we're talking about. And the things that we've learned, and honestly making some of this content, is that you sometimes need to have hardship to be able to experience true joy and contentment, that a life that is too easy can sometimes rob you of your ability to really understand the value of joy and happiness. We also have found that there's really certain elements of life like gratitude, compassion, service, empathy. Those are all qualities that when you express them more readily in your life, those are the things that can actually lead to more happiness and joy. There's a series that we do on our channel called The Science of Happiness, and it's really popular. We've done a second series called The Science of Love. A third season called The Science of Empathy is coming out this fall on our platforms. But it's really on this premise: can you take these theories of positive psychology, of compassion, of empathy, of love and relationships, can you take those theories, test them out on real people, and actually real time see the results of what happens when people confront them? And it's been really amazing to see how simple acts of gratitude, simple acts of service, simple acts of, putting yourself in other people's shoes, simple actions can really make a profound difference to your level of happiness. And
it is. Well, first of all, I'm super excited about watching parts of the series. And the film that kind of inspired this whole day was our film, The Science of Character. And that was like 5 years ago that we started making it. And since I learned and was playing with all this research, I've done little simple things that I swear have just upped my level of, we could call it a lot of things, but I'll use happiness as the blanket. But I'll tell you one thing that I've done, which is before I go to sleep at night, and everyone listening can do this, I close my eyes, and instead of looking at my phone is away, I try to think of like 3 or 4 beautiful moments that happened that day, even on a really bad day. And you know what? You can find them. I mean, just like a perfect moment that you just remember. And when you start to train yourself, it's like anything, then you start to look for those moments and you notice them more. And I love learning about all the gratitude research because I know it's so true just through experience. And they just gave me the 1-minute warning, but I realized like I can for a really long time. We need to have a meal together. When I come down to LA, we're going to do that. I will say that I love all your work with SoulPancake, and thank you for providing so much joyful material to wrestle with these big questions. And we've been doing this social media campaign, which is, what do you think the world needs more of right now? So, and we're asking people to like write it and hashtag cultivating character. So what do you think the world needs more of right now?
I think the world needs more compassion right now. Mm-hmm. We're sorely lacking in it. We've forgotten how to be compassionate people. And I think we're sorely lacking in compassion right now. And if there's anything that we can do to increase that empathy and compassion for other people and other lives and other stories, I think that would do the world a lot of good.
Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so much for joining us, and keep on making really compelling, chewy stuff for us all to munch away on.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.